The United States does not agree to Israel's annexation of part of the West Bank. It will not happen because I made a promise to the Arab states, said Donald Trump. Vice President J.D. Vance called the symbolic vote in Israel's parliament a very foolish political trick. The U.S. administration will not allow Israel to annex parts of the occupied West Bank, President Donald Trump said in an interview with Time magazine. It will not happen because I made a promise to the Arab states, he said. Regarding the annexation of the West Bank, Trump warned that if it happens, Israel would lose all assistance from the United States. The interview was published a day after the Israeli parliament, the Knesset, held a symbolic vote in favor of annexing lands that form the core territory of a future Palestinian state. On Thursday, during the final day of his two-day visit to Israel, Vice President Vance expressed anger over the vote. He said someone had told him it was a symbolic political maneuver with no practical significance. If this is a political trick, it is a very stupid political trick, he said, adding that he personally finds it an insult to the world. The policy of the Trump administration is that the West Bank will not be annexed by Israel, Vance stated. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who was also visiting Israel, emphasized that annexation threatens the peace agreement and cannot be supported at this time. We cannot support this right now, Rubio said, before departing for Israel. He came to help facilitate diplomatic efforts to strengthen the ceasefire and consolidate a fragile agreement in Gaza. Rubio warned that such actions could endanger the Gaza ceasefire deal.
The vote on Wednesday took place on the same day the U.S. Vice President arrived in Israel. According to the New York Times, the sharp reaction from U.S. officials forced Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to distance himself from the voting process. Netanyahu stated that the Knesset vote on annexation was a deliberate political provocation by the opposition, aimed at stirring conflict during Vice President J.D. Vance's visit to Israel. The proposals were initiated by two far-right members of the Israeli parliament and carry mostly symbolic meaning. The bill would still require several more rounds of voting and numerous committee discussions before becoming law. However, in recent weeks, talk of annexation in Israel has grown increasingly relevant as some of Israel's traditional close allies have taken steps to officially recognize the state of Palestine. Benjamin Netanyahu leads the most right-wing and conservative coalition in Israel's history. Its key elements seek to annex a large part of the West Bank. In fact, Netanyahu himself had previously expressed support for incorporating West Bank territories, but he refrained from pushing those ideas forward out of fear of damaging relations with Israel's most important ally, the United States, as well as with Arab nations.
The West Bank is a territory located on the western bank of the Jordan River. After the 1948 Arab-Israeli War, it came under Jordanian control, but following the Six-Day War in 1967, it was occupied by Israel. Today, the West Bank is recognized by the international community as occupied Palestinian land. In this area, some cities are under limited administration by the Palestinian Authority, but Israel maintains numerous military checkpoints and Jewish settlements. Since 1967, Palestinians have regarded the West Bank as part of their future independent state. The Palestinian Ministry of Foreign Affairs condemned the Knesset's decision, stating that Israel has no sovereignty over Palestinian territories. After occupying the West Bank and East Jerusalem, Israel settled around 700,000 Jews there and built about 16 residential settlements. It is estimated that about 3.3 million Palestinians live in the neighboring areas. The United Nations' highest judicial body, the International Court of Justice, ICJ, ruled last year that Israel's occupation is illegal. The court concluded that Israel must halt the transfer of its population into the occupied territories as soon as possible, though the ruling is advisory in nature and not legally binding. Moreover, most countries around the world also consider the Jewish settlements in the West Bank a violation of international law.